August 2nd, 2023, three young men make their way into the New Mexico wilderness, their minds set on adventure in this desolate mountain campground in northern New Mexico. The Cimarron, or more specifically, Cimmaron Campground, is a campsite in northern New Mexico, deep within the stunning beauty of the Sangre de Cristo mountain range. With jaw-dropping green pine mountains, beautiful mountain streams, and seemingly endless meadows, the three young men were eager to spend the next 2 nights here on their road trip of the American West. Supposed curse upon travelers who dare enter its depths showed itself to the trio in a small village called Castilla. Consisting of a gas station, bar, and a row of rundown Pueblo homes, there really wasn't much to this small, high desert community. Knowing it was the last stop before gas before entering the Cimarron, the group stopped for gas. Immediately, misfortune struck one of the group members, Leah Mandeville, aged 18. His head pounded, his stomach hurt, his head was spinning as he drove over the gas station median and narrowly slid into the filling stall. He stepped out to the pump gas, all the while his head spun due to the brutal combination of a nasty stomach bug and the relentless New Mexico sun. With the support of his friend, James McClin, aged 19, Liam decided to power through it, and together the trio made their way into the Cimarron's depths. The road was manageable for the group for only a few miles, quickly turning into an unpaved, rough, rock-filled trail. Battling a severe migraine, Liam's head pounded in unrelentless pain with every bump, fishtail, and winding curve. The views were undeniably remarkable, however, for the group, with majestic cliff sides, towering green mountains, and creek-filled meadows lining the road ahead. It was hard to deny the beauty of the Cimarron. It was such a shame, however, that this beauty would be tarnished by the supposed curse that lay in the valley of the Cimarron. Eventually, after 18 long miles down into the Cimarron Valley, the group finally came upon their destination, Cimarron Campground. By this point, Liam's nausea had intensified, as well as his migraine. Eager to get out of the car for some fresh air, Liam quickly pulled into the group's reserved campsite. Immediately after shutting off the engine and opening the door, Liam keeled over and vomited all over the dirt below, turning the dirt into an unpleasant yellowish brown soup. The torture that was inflicted upon Liam's internal organs persisted throughout the night, but ultimately the night turned into day, like always. The day that followed was one of numerous lasting memories. The sun emerged from behind the Cimarron's peaks, casting its beams throughout the glen that the campsite was in, lighting up the world for the trio with its glow. The group of young men awoke and enjoyed a morning through afternoon that was anything but cursed. The group spent their day on a series of hikes throughout the valley. The possibilities for adventure were seemingly endless in the valley's picturesque expanses, with towering mountains of pine, with majestic mountain streams flowing from their peaks into a meadow of wildflowers. The valley could not be described as anything other than stunning. After a long day of hiking around in the valley, the group returned to their campsite for dinner and a campfire to unwind from the adventures of the day. The group sat around the campfire, relaxing with a homemade cocktail and conversing about the events of the day. As the topics ranged from their experiences of today to the future, Aiden slipped away from the group to chop more wood for the diminishing fire. Unknown to them, this would be the moment that disaster would strike. Perhaps what happened next is the greatest mystery of all to come through the cursed lands of the Cimarron. Within the span of almost exactly 32 and a half seconds, or the equivalent of a human moment of disassociation, The hatchet that Aiden was using to chop firewood made impact with the back of his head. Aiden set the axe down and commented, "I think I just hit myself in the back of the head." Concerned, Liam and James looked over to make sure that Aiden was okay. Aiden claimed that he was okay and jammed the axe into a nearby tree stump. After watching Aiden walk over to his car to grab a bottled water, Liam quickly realized Aiden certainly was not fine. Blood rushed down the back of Aiden's head like a red, hot, oozing river, dripping from his hairline to his neck. The blood was initially hard to pinpoint, the flow seemingly endless and concerningly heavy. The young men ripped apart the inside of Aiden's 2010 Volvo XC70, desperately in search of the only first aid kit the group had brought on their adventure across the American West. The first aid kit was nowhere to be found, probably trapped under the mountain of camping gear, food, and other supplies. Frantically, the group raced towards the nearest source of help, the Cimmaron camp ranger. Eagerly inviting them into his trailer, Josh bandaged up Aiden and disinfected the wound. The group thought that their troubles were over for the night, for only a brief moment. After throwing the last alcohol wipe away, Josh stated, "I think this is going to need stitches, bro. Do you at least want a joint before you go?" The group declined as they had a dangerous and downright frightening road ahead of them. Liam pulled the Volvo around, and the group quickly went on their way to the nearest hospital, 60 miles away. After a long and treacherous journey down the mountain road in which they came, and a close collision with a pack of wild horses, the trio made it to La Junta County Hospital at the edge of midnight. James and Liam rushed Aiden into the La Junta ER, questioning whether or not this late night fiasco was even worth it. Aiden seemed fine, holding a coherent conversation and showing no signs of losing consciousness or pain. Aiden was walked to the back of the hospital, where his wound was examined and his head was stapled. At the late hour of 2 a.m., Aiden was finally discharged from the emergency room. The group was left exhausted, but not defeated from their nightmare situation in the cursed lands of the Cimarron. The only unknown that lay in their path was the simple question of where were they going to stay the night? The group definitely did not want to tackle the challenges of the forest road to their campsite at this hour of night. While it was not the perfect situation, leaving all their stuff as it was in their moment of panic to spend the night at a hotel, the group felt it was necessary after their experience. James turned the wheel onto the county highway and floored it in the direction of Alamosa, Colorado, with the sounds of relief and Aiden's tales of woe at the hospital in the background. The group was thankful to have made it out of the Cimarron in one piece, but more importantly, they were thankful for each other. Even though this was a relatively unhappy memory for the group, they were on an adventure, one that was full of twists and turns, but would ultimately result in the experience of a lifetime. Were the events that took place for that group of young men on a seemingly normal August day pure coincidence or something more sinister? Was it a curse laid upon the lands by the ancestors of the Taos Pueblo tribe, or the spirit of the victim of a brutal bear attack with a drive for vengeance? Perhaps we'll never know, but viewers beware. While the lands of the Cimarron hold immense beauty, they also tend to have a tendency for immense misfortune. If you have any further information, please don't hesitate to call our hotline at 913-240 Unsolved. 913-240 Unsolved. Update. The rest of the young man's adventure of the American West went incredibly smoothly, with no further misfortune. Aiden's head is fully healed, and he is working on becoming a personal trainer. He is still banned from using a hatchet until further notice. James just got back from another adventure, one all his own, Europe. Liam is currently studying and pursuing his future at the University of New Mexico. Finally, new scientific studies of the Cimarron Valley area have confirmed that all of the misfortune that took place that day was just sheer coincidence and a great amount of dumbassery on Aiden's part.